So let's remain with this particular story and go via Zoom now and speak to Executive Secretary of the Bureau of Public Safety, Nanayaw Akwada. Nana, you're welcome to ChannelOne Newsroom. So it's good news that our aircraft is back, but it has been a big deal. The question on the lips of many people is whether we should take the safety of the aircraft seriously, considering all the things that have been said by the Defense Ministry in the past.
Well, good evening to your viewers. I think it's good news to hear that the jet is back. But before we can make any concrete statements on its safety or otherwise, it's very important that we have, an independent certification, body to let us understand, objectively what was, established in relation to what the Ghana Armed Forces communicated to us, what kind of safety audit or certifications the aircraft, or maintenance routine that the aircraft went through. Then we'll be able to appreciate and then concretely say, well, it is safe for the president to use. I think in the absence of that, everything else will be rumor and rhetoric. We need to have a full disclosure in the scope of work that was done, the certifying bodies involved, and the post-repair airworthiness status. Then we can say this, concretely, objectively, without any shadow of doubt. But until then, everything else should be treated as, hearsay.
There's a view that let's purchase a new one. Let's not keep repairing, considering that it keeps becoming faulty, taken back, and all of that. Would you say that this is sufficient reason for us to start thinking of buying a new aircraft for the president?
This question is a tricky one, Umaru, because I believe that the aircraft, I understand, is about 10 years old. And in aviation, 10 years old aircraft is relatively young, okay? Most commercial airlines and even the Air Force One is over 2 decades old. Most commercial airlines are operating 15, 20, 25 plus years, and they are still in good standing. What is important is the kind of maintenance regime that is followed. The people who are performing those maintenance, are they people accredited by the manufacturer to, maintain this aircraft? Are they following manufacturer maintenance schedules? Those are the important things. But if we jump out of all of these and then go on to a new aircraft, what happens is that the same culture, and I'm not assuming that we're not maintaining this aircraft by manufacturer's dictates, okay? But assuming we were not, and then we buy a new aircraft and continue in that same trajectory, it will not be long when we'll come back to let's buy a new aircraft again. So for now, we need to ascertain what was the maintenance. Were we going according to manufacturer's dictates, manufacturer's recommendations? People who were working on these aircraft, were they certified by the manufacturer to do so? And then we can move from there. Without that, it will be premature now to say, let's go and buy a new one.
Another debate around having a presidential jet or otherwise is the cost involved in traveling with or without one. The president recently has been traveling on commercial flights. The former president used to charter private jets, and it became a controversial issue in this country. Have you done some analysis, cost-benefit analysis as a bureau, to find out which one is better for us, for presidents to fly commercially or to fly privately? Now, consider this for me both on the security level and also on commercial or cost of flying for us.
Well, Imaru, for starters, the closest the Bureau came to, maybe I shouldn't say the Bureau, but I personally came to was, I think, a couple of years back, 2 or so years back, that I wrote an opinion piece on presidential travel. That's as far as we have come to making any serious analysis on whether we need a new one or not. But if you ask me, the cost of presidential travel vis-a-vis whether they travel on a commercial flight or on a private dedicated presidential aircraft, I think it's for national security to do. Because when you talk about cost in presidential travels, it's not just um, fiscal cost or economic cost. There are other costs that may not appeal to the ordinary man. Okay, security is involved. So, what is the cost, the security cost? What is the economic cost? What is national prestige cost? All of these are things that must be considered. We have maintained that if Ghana thinks that they need a new presidential jet, it is something that must be considered in full transparency and sensitivity, because as a country, we are, and this argument is not new. We've been through this argument every regime under the Fourth Republic. We went through it with Rawlings under the Foka, went through it with Kufuor, went through it with Nanayaw, and we're going through it with JM #2. So by this time, I think that the state or the powers that be, the Ghana Armed Forces, should know that every time new presidential jet topic comes up, we as a nation, sometimes we split over it. It's a very sensitive matter, considering that there are other, pressing needs like huge public debt that we need to take care of. There are competing needs in health, there are competing needs in education, there are competing needs in public safety, police response time, Ghana National Fire Service. There are so many needs that we need to balance in order to do this. So that justification must be grounded in data and science. Do we have that justification available to the Ghanaian people? If we don't have it, then we will be going through the same cycle we go through every now and then. If you ask me personally, and at this point, let me dissociate myself from the bureau. And so, I mean, just so you don't go out and say the Bureau of Public Safety
Mm.
thinks so. This is my opinion. My opinion is that the government or the state must publish records of these aircraft. How have we maintained the aircraft according to manufacturer standards? Are the recurring faults due to age, misuse, or poor maintenance planning? Is there value for money analysis comparing refurbishment versus replacement? Is Ghana leveraging international technical audits before committing to such major expenditure? And if we cannot provide direct answers to these questions, then it's not time for us to even start the discussion at all. What we have is what we must make use of.
In the diplomatic and international relations circle, do presidential jets matter? The Air Force One is a big deal. We do know that there are actually even two. There's one that travels with the Beast and all of those things. Is it a big deal for a country to have a presidential jet, or this is just simply a patriotic thing that we don't really have to waste money on?
This question is another subjective one. What is a big deal? A big deal is making sure that the safety and security of your people is secure. The big deal is that you are providing for the needs of the people. So, I mean, at no point will a presidential jet be a big deal, but the dynamics are such that sometimes, depending on the geopolitics, for instance, if our president was the Burkina Faso president, considering everything going on right now, there is no way that any serious-minded person will say he should travel commercial. So there are considerations that national security would have to make. And I think that those considerations must, to a large extent, be transparent, considering also the sensitivities of other competing needs. The president can travel and he must travel in safety. If the Ghana Armed Forces thinks that, look, running just one aircraft puts undue pressure on one aircraft, so we need two so that we can balance, when to use which one and, use them for a longer period. Why not? They should put down the figures for us to see. If we think that, look, the president flying commercial, make with all the security considerations, is okay. He can fly commercial. We have what it takes to provide for a security cover on commercial flights. Why not? But here again, I want to defer this to national security because the Queen of England occasionally flies commercial.
The king
The
now.
king,
The king now.
well, yes, the king now, sorry, the king flies commercial. I mean, if the King of England flies commercial, why can't any head of state fly commercial? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's absolutely important that that consideration
Okay.
is made within the context of our geopolitical standing.
Very well. Nana, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
That's Nanayaw Akwada. He is Executive Director of the Bureau of Public Safety. This is Channel